left. Shit, I go era, blaze, skill on whack. Bitch, I'm sick. I said, to park down with track. Split that brass knuckle rap, impact a spinal tap. Bring a play into an end like that for the final act. It's an actual fact. The son of man, show it through. No, man, fuck them dudes. I live what you listen to.
Hey, Urban Politics, you know what it is. I'm your humble host, Phys Ed Music, and this is Urban Politics. That right there is a fresh little joint, you know what I'm saying, from me and a couple of friends of mine, Vast there and Lord Hakeem, Brass Knuckles. That's on YouTube if you want to check that out later on. That's a real nice piece of hip-hop there. Something fresh to add to the culture, but that's not what you're here for. You are here for some politics. This is Urban Politics. Let's get right into the politics, and there's plenty of politics to talk about. What we're going to start off with, the Trump riots. What else is there to talk about? It's all that's been in the news. I know it's all you've seen. It's all that I've seen. So let's talk about it. Continued. First of all, did you see what your boy BHO, Barack Hussein Obama, had to say? He said it will be marked in history as a moment of great dishonor and shame for the nation. I think that right there just wrapped it up in a bow for all of us right there. You know what I mean? A moment of great dishonor and shame for the nation. I don't think there's any better way to frame it than that. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you come from, what country, what state, what principality, whatever. When you see that, and you see that the way people who are from America went after people who are elected by Americans, all in the name of turning over an election that they claimed was fraudulent, but it wasn't at all. And that has been debunked time and time again. The fact that people got that nuts and went that hard, it is very dishonorable. I was thinking about that. You know, my son's about 3 years old. He'll be 10 and he'll talk about this. I tell people that all the time, though. I'm looking for the days when he comes to me when he's older. He'll be doing book reports and stuff and be like, Trump, was this a real guy? This really happened? He really did this? Did he have that phone call? Did he say that? Did he hire his friends to do such and such? Did he actually have people storming the that happened? That's real? This ain't a movie? Yeah, that went down, son. That went down right here in the good old America. You know what I'm saying? Good old US of A. So, and there's other stuff that unfortunately I have to tell him about that's went on here in America that, you know, he'll read the history of or whatever and come and want to talk to me and say, Dad, did you know about this or whatever? And I have to, you know, school him on that. But this right here, this is a day that will live in infamy. It is shameful. Barack Obama hit the nail on the head with that. So, of course, that's what he'd have to say about it. The Washington Post also reports that 13 off-duty cops were suspended for attending the riot. 29 current or former officers attended the riots. 12 to 13 Capitol Police officers are under investigation right now as we speak. That is sad. But I've went on record on this show as saying it, and I'm going to say it again. I've said it ad nauseum. We know that white supremacists have infiltrated law enforcement. We know that they have infiltrated, our armed forces. What's going to be done about it? What needs to be done about it is these different organizations need to be purged. That's going to take a lot of time. That's going to cost a lot of money. Oh, well, it is what it is. But that, unfortunately, people who are sympathizers of that movement have definitely infiltrated these different institutions. If we want to see, if we want to get rid of them, that's what we have to do. We're going to have to go through these institutions with a fine-tooth comb. That means re-interviewing some people. That means looking at some people's Facebooks. A lot of people are invading people's privacy. It is what it is. I mean, if we want law enforcement to reflect the American people, we're going to have to do that because, like I said, we already know it's been infiltrated. That's the reason why you had a lot of these Capitol Police letting these people in, because a lot of them are, a part of that Trump cult. A lot of them are white supremacists. A lot of them are, sympathizers of the Proud Boys and all that other stuff. So it is what it is. There's a representative, her name is Mickey Sherrill, I hope I'm saying that right, said she saw members of Congress leading people on what looked like a reconnaissance tour the day before the insurrection, and said that she's going to see to it that they are held accountable for their actions and kicked out of office if need be. Thank God for that. This lady was mad about it. She was upset about it. I'm not going to lie, I never really heard of her until now. But She's obviously somebody who probably gets more into work than being seen on camera. Thank God we do have some people in government like that. So she was saying that she did bear witness to that with her own eyes. Her colleagues leading people around, helping them get the bearings for this thing they were about to do. That's sad. So that is what it is. She said that she's going to hold them accountable. Thank God somebody's, looking after that and doing that investigation. Moving on, there's a lady by the name of Jenny Cudd. She was a candidate for mayor of Texas, helped knock down Nancy Pelosi's door, then bragged about it on Facebook Live. She's upset that she going to jail. Well, duh, of course you get federal charges. And you facing prison time because you did some prison stuff. What did she think? She thought like a lot of these people. I say it all the time on this show too. Racism, it doesn't only hurt people who look like me, but it also hurts white people too. Because it had some of them under the guise that their whiteness was going to help them with, not come under any prosecution for the crimes that they were committing. Obviously, you're going to have some retribution. There's going to be some retribution for these crimes that you're committing. Why would you think there wouldn't? And even white comedians said white privilege. It is what it is, and that's what it thought. They thought their whiteness would be enough to get them out of these crimes. No, because believe it or not, like I've also went on record this show as saying, not all white people are racist. Not all white people are on that. You talk to some white people, they're like, nah, I don't care what your skin color is. The law is what the law is. And we're going to hold you to the law like everybody else. I don't care if you're purple. I don't care if you're orange like the president. We're going to hold him accountable. He's orange. We're holding him accountable. So don't think we don't get into holding white people who look like us accountable. Side note, I remember watching one of my favorite shows on the planet, Law and Order. Love Law and Order. And Jack McCoy, that character, he was, he's a prosecutor for New York, and they were talking about prosecuting this young, and he said, what? He's a young, fresh-faced white kid. He said, so what? We're not going to prosecute him? He said, we don't prosecute this guy because he looks like the boy next door? He said, no, sir. He said, if you broke the law, we will prosecute you to the full extent of the law. And that is what it is. We're not doing that. So I love the fact that there are still some people out here who are like, I don't care what you look like. I don't care if you do look like me or look like somebody in my family. You broke the law, and we're going to hold you accountable for doing that. That's good stuff. Moving on, some of the people at the Capitol, the Trump riots, had the nerve or have been put on the no-fly list. They got the nerve to be upset about that. You've seen them on Facebook just like me crying and dying about it. And they're treating me like a terrorist. You are a terrorist. Once again, like I said, man, this racism, it done did a job on some of us around here. These people went to thinking that a terrorist is a terrorist because what? They're Islamic? Because they have brown skin? No, a terrorist is not a terrorist because of what they look like. A terrorist is a terrorist because of their actions. And the actions that you did were terrorizing. You are a terrorist. Of course, they're going to put you on the no-fly list. What do you think this is? But that's what it is. They thought my skin's not brown. I don't wear a turban on my head. I don't look like a terrorist. They're not going to put me on a no-fly list. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am, they will. And they did. Hats off to those real Americans who are like, nah, you're an insurrectionist, you're a traitor, you will be treated as such. That's what's good, that's what's good. Moving on, I want to talk about a guy who I respect and love to death, Colin Powell. Check this out. He said that, first of all, he's no longer a Republican after calling on Trump to step down, of course. And he was upset. All of this was after January 6th. You know what I'm saying? After they tried to overtake the Capitol. He was on one. He was like, nah, I'm not a Republican anymore. Now, I remember back in the day, I think it's when Colin Powell voted for Barack Obama the first time, voted for this guy the first time. He probably voted for him the second time too, but I'm not sure of that. But I know the first time he voted for him, and then that's when Bill O'Reilly said, I don't think he's a Republican anymore. No, he's a rhino. Republican in name only. He's no longer a Republican. And when they call somebody a rhino, I know you've heard that term thrown around a lot. A rhino is that, Republican in name only, R-I-N-O, rhino. So that's what a lot of people have tried to say about, well, a lot of people on the right anyway have said that about Colin Powell because he voted for Barack Obama. Whatever, you can be a Republican and vote for a Democrat. That is what it is. At most, you can maybe say that he's an independent, but it is what it is. He was also, he was saying that Trump should step down, obviously. He was also saying that he wished that he would do what Nixon did, and that step down. Also encouraged Republicans to tell Trump, it's over, the plane's waiting for you, you're out. That's what he said. That's a quote right there. He said he encouraged other Republicans to tell him, it's over, the plane's waiting for you, you're out. So that's what's up. But that will take a backbone. And unfortunately, Colin Powell, people in your party or ex-party do not have that backbone. Moving on. If they did, they would have been said something. They don't get no cookie or no kudos from me for finally stepping up and saying something now. 5, 6 people had to die on a Wednesday for y'all to step up and grow backbones. Anyway, and your own lives had to be in danger. Moving on. I want to talk about Jenna Ryan. Jenna Ryan is a real estate agent. She takes a private jet to the Trump riots. She wants a pardon. Her and the guy with the horns on his head, we'll talk about that in a minute, all soliciting Trump for pardon. There's other people too, just who are all, at that thing that went down, that the Trump riots, all soliciting him for pardons. And she says that her and everyone else there deserves a pardon. They were only following their president's directions. Said she doesn't deserve to go to prison. First of all, this lady filmed herself getting on the plane. She took a private jet there. Then she filmed herself going up the steps of the Capitol. Said it was the best day of her life on camera. All of this stuff. I think she filmed herself next to the window that they busted in to get into the Capitol and stuff. So come on, you was doing all this brazen stuff, and now you mad that federal agents have come to you and let you know, yeah, you will be going to jail. There will be some retribution for your crimes. Now you want your president to pardon you. No, he's not. He don't care nothing about you. You're not getting the pardon. He's trying to make sure he can pardon himself or pardon his kids. So there's that. The lawyer, now getting to that doofus, and I'm not saying his name. I know his name, but I'm not saying his name because I don't want to get this guy any more pub than he's already got. You know what I'm saying? Dude with horns on his head, he's like big in the QAnon world. I'm not saying his name because he's a doofus. So, lawyer, the idiot with the horns on his head, said that Trump should do the honorable thing and pardon his peaceful followers who took his invitation. Now that's interesting. Think about that. Said he should do the honorable thing and pardon his peaceful followers who did nothing but take his invitation. He did tell them, yeah, let's go down there and march to the Capitol building and give them the strength to do the right thing. I guess which was disenfranchising 81 some million Americans, but whatever. That's ridiculous and a travesty. And how about this? Ignorance of the law is not a defense. So even if you didn't know something was illegal, but you break the law, you still go to jail. And all these people knew what they were doing was illegal. I don't want to hear this. He was our president. He was giving us direction. We were just taking direction from our president. That's garbage. You're an adult. You knew better. You knew better. Okay? You chose not to do better. So it is what it is. You, sir, you, ma'am, need to go to jail like anybody else. Moving on. I just had to throw this in. The NRA files bankruptcy. What? That blew me away. I didn't really have much story behind that. I just wanted to put that out there for those who know like I know. That might be a good thing, but then when I think about that, the NRA files bankruptcy, I'm sure there'll be other outfits that'll step right up to take all that business of making guns, because this is a country full of people who love guns. Some of them are my best friends in the world and they love guns. I understand that. That's a very American thing. It is what it is. And that's not going anywhere. So the NRA files bankruptcy. Maybe that's good news. Maybe it ain't. We'll see. I say it's good news because the NRA has bought off so many people in government for so long. I talked about it on this show. Some of the checks that they've given some of these congressmen and congresswomen, and House leaders and such in Congress are astronomical. I'm talking $39 million, $17 million, $18 million to pay these people off and get what they want. So the fact that won't be an issue anymore, hopefully not. I mean, because when people on that level file bankruptcy, it doesn't look like when somebody, like you or me files bankruptcy. So they still got a lot of money, but hopefully they won't have the money to be paying off politicians the way that they've been doing. So we'll see that. Watch this space, as Rachel Maddow would say. I'm not stealing that because I always give her credit when I say it. But you know what I'm saying? We'll see how far that goes. Moving on, Trump is trying to stiff Giuliani won't pay his fee. Ain't that something? Giuliani done ran all around here, sweating hair grease and oil all on his nice suits and all that, telling people that the election was rigged and there's voter fraud all over the place and dead people voted in Pennsylvania and blah 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 blah, blah, blah and all that. Mad that Trump won't pay his fee. Do you know what his fee was? I was blown away when I heard this because I was like, I don't think Giuliani is worth that. $20,000 a day. $20,000 a day. Now I knew that most lawyers charge by the hour, or you'll go to a lawyer and tell them what you need. Like, yeah, I have a domestic violence case, or I have a DUI case, and they might tell you, well, for your case, here's what I charge. But $20,000 a day, that's a lot, and I can only imagine what the overall bill is. But they said that Giuliani is still working with him and working for him. So there's that, so I don't know what to say, but they were saying that Trump is stiffing them. But they said Trump never pays anybody. He never pays anybody, and it's funny that people know that he never pays anybody. They still chomping at the bit, I guess, to work for him or still work with him, knowing he don't pay people. That's his thing. He don't like to pay people. Work with people in New York, he didn't pay him. Now he don't want to pay Giuliani, and that's his boy, the mayor of New York, so, oh well, moving on. States, unfortunately, report a shortage of vaccines. Not much more to say about that than that. A shortage of vaccines. Is anyone surprised about that? I'm not surprised about that. Please tell me you're not surprised about that. You cannot be surprised about that. I reported on this show on how Trump didn't order enough vaccines, period. And a lot of those vaccines have went to other countries who had the good sense to order what they knew they would need for their citizens. I don't know if Trump was trying to save some money that he's pocketing himself, or they're still pushing this herd immunity thing. I think that's a part of it, because they said there's some vaccines that are just sitting on the shelf right now that they won't give the states to pass out. What is that about? But they said that that's been the White House's thing from jump, that they wanted to do this herd immunity. We'll let everybody get it. And then if everybody gets it, then nobody's getting sick anymore. But a lot of people have to get it and die before that happens. That is not the way that you handle this thing. Everybody who knows the science and anybody who's a doctor has said that. But we already know that the White House and Trump does not get into listening to science. They definitely don't get into listening to doctors. So we're at where we're at on that. That is what it is. If you know like I know, please protect yourself. Stay inside. If you ain't got to go outside, don't go outside. If you do go outside, wear a mask. That's what's up. Not too much to ask. There's still people going ham about wearing a mask. You've seen them all over the internet. I see them all over the internet. It's amazing that, you got a few people out there who just can't comply with that simple instruction of wearing a mask. It is what it is, though, I guess. Some people just, what I'm saying, they have no time to be inconvenienced, even in the slightest. Even if it means that one or two people's lives might be saved. Who's got time to worry about them? It's all about me and my comfort and how I feel good and how I like to breathe air without an obstruction. Anyway, moving on. I have to talk about the other day that will live in infamy. January 13th. President Trump gets impeached for the second time. That's amazing. Now I'm sitting there watching the news, and they had the articles just sitting on the desk, right? And there were just all these cameramen and women just I mean, they spent a good 15-20 minutes just taking pictures of it. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, Jesus, is it that serious? But now I'm thinking to myself, like, yes, it is that serious. Never has a president been impeached twice in history. That's historic. That is unprecedented. That has never happened in the history of these United States. We've been a country for a minute around here. It's been a couple of 100 years, right? And never has that happened. We've had 200 plus years of presidents, and never has that happened. A president impeached not one, but 2 times. 2 times. Now, he was impeached twice in the House. So that is what it is. The only difference this time is that when they sent those articles of impeachment over, there were 10 Republicans who signed on with it. The last time they did it, there were no Republicans who signed on with it. So to have a true impeachment, you're going to need, both houses, or at least, a little love from both houses. This last time they got all of the Democrats, 10 Republicans. Which people was like, well, at least they got those 10. Hats off to those men and women for showing some backbone, for showing some testicular fortitude. Because, and you know what? a pundit had put it perfectly when I think it might have been Jimmy Kimmel that I was listening to, and then he put it perfectly. He said we got to give those people some kudos, because he said some of these Republican people, they off the chain. They'll come to these congressmen and women's house. They'll come to their houses and not only be picking it or whatever, they'll probably be, spray painting the house and doing all other type of stuff, stopping them and their family from coming and going and all that other good stuff. So they on it like that. So for them to stand up and actually go ahead and sign like, nah, this guy needs to go. What he did was egregious. It was beyond the pale. It cannot stand. That is still, you know what I'm saying? That's definitely a profiling courage from them. There's that. But then there's those other 100 and something, maybe 119, 120 or something or more so, who did not sign to impeach, which is sad. Really sad. Their lives were put in danger, put at risk. They don't want to impeach. This president has done anything bad a president could do, and you still vote not to impeach. But I think a lot of those people are scared. They're scared. They're scared for the reason I was saying a minute ago. They don't want people at their door while they're trying to live their lives. But they're also afraid of that base. People need to remember, Trump still has 74 million people who voted for him. These are 74 million people who believe every word that comes out his mouth. They do everything that he tells them to do. And some of them don't mind dying for the man. That's scary. So there's some of these people who are in government who are scared to death. Maybe they should be. That's where we're at in this country. That's sad, but it is what it is. So, that's why I said, once again, we got to give them some love. That's a profiling courage that, they even went there and signed for impeachment. But it's definitely the right thing to do. Liz Cheney was one of the people who was, part of that 10 who definitely was on board with the impeachment, because she's the number 3 Republican in the House, right? Or number 3 Republican in the Senate, excuse me. And she has stepped up, and she said, I'm bringing up articles against the president of high crimes and misdemeanors. And that's the one. When you see that one, it's like, whoa, that's the big high crimes and misdemeanors. That's when it's like, okay, that's it. This guy done showed out. He got to go. He got to get out of there. And the fact that Liz Cheney, that's Dick Cheney's daughter. Dick Cheney was a beast. My goodness. This guy was so horrible. He was horrible. He politically, he was a monster. In real life, he was a monster. Listen, that guy, he revolutionized the vice presidency. They said that Dick Cheney, he just did stuff that a vice president never would do. I think the way that him and Rumsfeld kind of strong-armed Bush Jr., it's unprecedented. So he's a trip. Dick Cheney's a trip. So to think that his daughter, I didn't know she was the number 3 Republican. That's interesting. And the fact that she came out, and that's what I said, that was what she brought up against the president. High crimes and misdemeanors. That's the one. When you see that, it's on. So it TI is what it TI is. When she done jumped on board that it's all bad, he got to go. And there it is. Impeached twice. So he's the only president to be impeached twice, to lose the popular vote twice. Something wrong in this country. Excuse me. Something wrong in this country when someone can lose the popular vote 2 times and still be president. That doesn't make any sense at all. How do you lose the popular vote 2 times and still president? So there's a problem with that. But they need to fix that. Maybe getting rid of the Electoral College. I've been talking about that. I've been saying that. It hasn't happened yet. So we'll see. Don't hold your breath on that. But that's what definitely needs to happen. Now, Republicans don't want to get rid of the Electoral College because they know if they get rid of the Electoral College, they look good never winning the executive ever again. So a TI is what a TI is, because they know that their views and their policies are not popular. But we'll see what's up with that. I say the Democrats need to put their heads together and work on that, getting rid of that Electoral College. Moving on, I wanted to talk about your boy Trump's approval rating, which is in the toilet. His approval rating is at 33%, disapproval at 60%. So that means 60% of the country is not happy with the way that he is running the country. That is bad. That's really, really bad. Now, I guess his approval used to be at 44%. And it kind of would stay there no matter what he did. I mean, any racist stuff he did, any misogynistic stuff he did, that 44% didn't really move. But it seems like now the thing he's lost 10%. He's down to 33% now. Why? The insurrection at the Capitol building. I mean, I guess that was the thing that made Trump supporters be like, okay, that's it. They were okay with him calling, black and brown countries ishhole countries. They were okay with him grabbing women by the. They were okay, with colluding with Russia. They're okay with all of that stuff, but this right here is I can't go. 5 Americans died. A couple of them were police officers, Capitol Police. I can't do it. This is where I draw a line. So I guess I'm like, okay, thank God it was something. I didn't think it would be anything. I still didn't think it was this. They talked about the day after this insurrection took place that Trump called in. I talked about it here on the show. He called in for a winter meeting that they have with the GOP, and they applauded him. They were applauding the man. Like this is a victory or something, that 5 people died at the Capitol building while people tried to take it over, and some of them were trying to kill some of the very people at this meeting who were applauding the president who set this whole thing up. Whatever, it's bananas, but it is what it is. 33%, that is pretty doggone low. I don't know if there's been a president that low. I don't know if Nixon was that low. I was gonna Google that, but I didn't get a chance to do that before I did the show because I was so eager to do the show and had some other stuff going on. So it is what it is, but that's about it. Urban Politics coming to you every week. If you like what you are seeing, please, by all means, would you like and subscribe? Now, there's a segment on TikTok. There's a guy on TikTok. His name is Unemployed Wine Guy, and he'll always he'll do a review of a drink or whatever, right? But he obviously does reviews of wine. Unemployed Wine Guy. So he review the wine, take a sip of it or whatever, and review it. Now, I don't drink wine. But what I do drink is beer. I love beer. And I'm not like Kavanaugh. I love beer. It ain't like that. I like beer though. Something a little nice to unwind with after a long day. So this right here, and I hope I don't get in trouble, but oh well, it's the internet. Bodai by Columbus Brewing. This is a good beer right here. This is a double Indian Pale Ale. Now IPA, that's what an IPA is. It's an Indian Pale Ale, and it's really good beer actually. For years I drank beer, and I remember going to places that sold beer especially, and seeing $15 6 packs of beer, and I'm like, whoa, that's expensive for a beer. It can't be that serious. Then I found out it is, because if you sip an IPA and then you sip something like I don't know, a High Life or a Natty Ice or something like that, you'll see the difference. It's a huge difference. So this right here is a good one though. It's a double Indian Pale Ale, which means it's extra strong. It's 8.3% alcohol, so you only need one of these. You're definitely gonna feel it, but it's nice, it's smooth, it's delicious. So that's a segment I'm adding to the show. I'm going to go ahead and review a beer. This beer right here, I say it's like an 8.5, baby. Maybe 9. I give it 8.59. It's really, really good. It's delicious. It's smooth. It's nice and strong. And if you're an IP lover like your boy is, you'll love it. So maybe you want to check that out. And any of these beer people, if you see you want to sponsor your boy, please holler at me. Urban Politics, what can I say? Another day, no dollars. I will be coming to you next week with more news. Thank all of you for watching. Once again, you in the pushback zone. If you want to push back on anything that I've said, you think I'm talking out of my butt, you can always hit me up at fizzedmusic@gmail.com. And what else can I say? See you around like a donut.